Good morning. My name is Jeff Locastro. I'm the founder and CEO of Neener Analytics. I'm joined today by my co-founder and CTO, Mark Tomlinson. Let's start by framing this a bit. 56% of US consumers alone are thin file, no file, and credit challenged. These are the consumers that you want and need to grow and expand your market, and they want and need to grow and expand with you, but you don't engage with them because the risk of that engagement is either unknown or unreliable. Well, we're here today to show you that it doesn't have to be that way, that you can expand your market, reduce your risk, reduce your application abandons, increase your volume, but more importantly, increase your revenue with one click in a 20-minute implementation, that you can understand and decision specific individual outcomes using a regulatory compliant solution that has almost an 80% prediction accuracy. We're here to unveil today at Finovate social media decisioning analytics that actually work. Now let's cross this next bridge right now. We are well beyond measuring likes and friends, which is a social media solution that's in vogue right now. It's the you are who your friends are approach. But the problem with that is that we're not who our friends are we? We're who we are as individuals, as unique individual human beings. So let me ask you a question. What if you could sit each customer down with a psychologist and ask them, are you really going to pay us back? Would you do that? Because the question is not can they, right? That's easy to figure out. The question is, will they? We've cracked the code here. I want you to think of us as the biometrics of personality. So Mark, let's show them what we got.
Okay, so we're going to start this demo today by showing you what the Neener Analytics process looks like from the consumer's point of view. So here we are on the homepage of a credit card company that wants to offer a great product to thin file individuals, but they need a way to assess their risk. So let's go ahead and apply. I'm taken to a pretty standard application form, right? This is probably pretty similar to the one you use at your business. It asks for some personal information and then takes the consumer onto more pages where it asks them more detailed questions. Now, the difference here is instead of a next page button, we've added this social login button. And we've let the consumer know that by using this button, they'll get faster approval. Premium services are another great incentive. I'm going to go ahead, fill out the application, and click login. It's going to take me to a Facebook page that's going to ask me to give permission to the Neener app. I click continue and I'm taken on to the rest of the application. That's it, just one click.
Exactly. Now, the social login is the future of all consumer engagement. We believe that, and the evidence to that is pretty overwhelming. This one click, this is what's going to increase your volume and reduce your application abandons by up to 50%, 50%.
Now, so in the background, our software is currently analyzing that individual social media presence. We've managed to automate that psychologist, and he's sitting down with the individual social media profile, and he's extracting hundreds of different personality traits from that individual, assembling them into a matrix and creating a unique personality profile for that individual. We're then using machine learning to correlate that profile into a specific risk profile for the individual. Again, think of us as the biometrics of personality. So let's take a look at what those risk profiles look like. So this is our business dashboard. And this shows the risk profile that we just created. It shows an individual, myself, that was rated as a good lending risk by our software. So here we can see that the system gave me a low probability to default and placed me into the high FICO risk alignment category. Now that means I should be treated similarly to borrowers with a high FICO score. So hopefully I'll get approved.
I hope you do too. But what does this mean where it matters? Well, in our most recent validation, with a high-volume consumer products lender doing about 25,000 to 30,000 applications a month, we demonstrated, using this exact same process that you just saw here, we demonstrated that we could reduce their defaults by 33% and increase their revenue by 22%. This is how we reduce your risk and increase your volume.
So now let's take a look at a profile on the other end of the spectrum. So this profile is an anonymized profile taken from that recent validation. And here we can see that the individual is rated as a bad risk by our software. So they're given a high probability of default and placed into the low FICO risk alignment category. This person later went on to default on that loan. Now, in addition to predicting default, we can also predict other loan-related behaviors, such as whether or not the individual is going to transact on a revolving line of credit, or whether or not they're going to pay off their loan early. Now, in this case, consistent with this individual's high risk, you see they're likely to revolve on a credit line, and they're not likely to pay off their loan early. Now, finally, we can identify other individual characteristics of the individual, as well as provide identity verification by corroborating information provided on the application with that found on their social media profile.
Right, exactly. So how does this compare with what you've been doing? Look, we're here to tell you, you don't have to keep using the same stayed data, the same overworked data sets and information that you've been using and everyone else has been using, reformatting it and hopefully getting some magical new insight coming out the other end. There's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do it. What if we had a social media analytics that actually worked? Have you tried using alternative data? Maybe you've even dabbled in some social media, and maybe it didn't work for you. We understand. We get it. That's why we developed Neener Analytics. And maybe you've tried using it, and maybe you saw a little bit of promise in it. Well, if that happened, we're going to blow you away, I promise. So come see us. We would love to chat with you and show you just how big this really is. So I want to say thank you to Finovate for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate your time sincerely. On behalf of Mark and myself, I want to say thank you and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.